Woman. I'm 57 and I love to teach and share about makeup tips that I've learned that have helped me, and I'm hoping that they'll help you as well. So today, stick around for this live. I'll be down here in the chat answering all of your questions, but we're going to be talking about under eyes, but something a little different than just the under eye darkness. We're going to be talking about under eye bags or puffiness. These, I call them my bulldog eyes here. And something a little different, which is I'm going to try to show you on my eye here, which I don't have, but I'm going to try to show you under eye hollowness. So the difference is an under eye bag or puffiness is where it actually starts to poof out, where fatty tissue drops from up here, because everything drops as we age, and starts to pool underneath our eyes, causing a puffiness or a bag, which, who loves that term? Not me. And then an increase or a crease, I should say, an indentation or a crease underneath that bag, which kind of just emphasizes it. Under eye hollowness, and both could have darkness to them, is more of when the fat just doesn't fall down into here. You actually just lose even more. So it continues from here down and you start to hollow out under your eye. And what that does is that causes really a darkening or a shadow underneath your eye, and where it's dipped in. So I'm going to show you two different ways, because they're two different issues that you may have. And so stay here, and I hope these are helpful to you. All right, first one we're going to talk about is the under eye bag, because I think a lot of us can definitely relate to that. And like I said before, either can have darkness, meaning either can have excess pigmentation, bluish purple darkness, it may look brown, but what we're going to do first on the under eye bag is we're going to first address, one, does it have to be filtered or color corrected? So if you do have any, bluish purple discoloration or any darkness, we're going to address that first with a color corrector shade. And all that is you're going to look at the color and try to determine, and most likely, probably 99% of the time, this under eye discoloration, probably if you see it, probably is a bluish purple, because what we see dark under our eyes is usually blue or purple in some form. It may look brown, but it's probably got this blue purple. So we're going to address any under eye discoloration by color correcting first, okay? Not going in with a brightener to try to lighten it up. So this is a peachy orange shade, and you can use any product. You don't have to necessarily use the products I'm using. This happens to be a cream-based product, and this color is a peachy orange shade. I'm going in with a nice flat brush, and I'm just going to tap the smallest amount where I see the discoloration. So if you don't have the bluish purple or darkness all underneath your eye, but you tend to notice that you have it mostly kind of on the inside here, or right, usually right in here. Sometimes we have it out here, or you might even see that you have, some melasma, in areas. You want to filter first, okay? So that's the first step, is to go in and filter or neutralize any discoloration first, keeping it as light as the product as you can, because we don't want to over apply any product underneath our eyes. For under eye puffiness then, if you happen to not have any discoloration, let me grab the right color, and you just have your puffy bag or the poofiness, then just match it or go over that at this point with a shade that's closest to the surrounding skin around it. So, that would be probably a shade that's most likely your foundation shade, a shade that closely matches your skin tone. And you want to just go over that area with your shade. Now, if you had color corrected underneath, you're just lightly going over and you're just blending those two together. You can use a flat little brush like this. You could use your finger if you're using, either a liquid or cream-based product. And this is just the shade that I would use all over my face, and I did actually before I started, as like my main cream shade. So going over the bag with a color that either neutralizes it, see that already, or or a combination that just matches the skin tone around it, is going to lessen the appearance of the puffiness and lessen the appearance of it pushing out, okay? So what we want to avoid doing, the opposite, is taking a really light color, a concealer shade or a really light under eye shade, and applying that right on the puffiness, because highlighting and contouring is really what we're doing underneath our eye. And when you highlight something, it's when you add a light color and that pulls forward. So if you were to put a light color on your eye bag, the puffiness, it's going to make it look like it's coming forward, and it's going to just emphasize that. And that's not what we want, right? So instead, we are going to either go in with a combination of a color corrector and your main shade underneath there, or one or the other if you need to. So what do we do about the indentation here? That still bothers a lot of us. When you tip down, you can still see, you know, the bag looks a little more neutralized. It's not poofing out, but I still want to brighten and lessen the appearance of that. That's when we can go in with a lighter shade, a lighter concealer shade, a highlight stick. I'm using, again, a cream product, and this is a much lighter shade, about 3 shades lighter than the main shade that I put under. I'm going to take a small little brush, something that's nice and tiny, because I just want to place it underneath the puffy bag. So tip your head down and just start to draw that in the trough or the actual indentation under your eye puffiness or the eye bag. You see how I'm doing this? I'm just coming in and just lightly applying that right under there. I also have some indentations that kind of come off here. So I'm going to do the same thing. So if you tip, it's hard to see with this lighting here today, but I have kind of like some folds right here. So this technique works great for a lot of different indentations or folds or crevices on our face. So even like down here, our little marionette lines here, or nasal folds right here, we can come in and you can actually fill in. And that's all we're doing, is filling in the darker shadow caused by these indentations with a lighter shade. All right, so after you do that, then we're going to take that same brush, whether it was your finger or the brush, with a little bit of that your main shade or your color corrector, and then you're just going to start pressing to blend. And we want to press that in. We don't want to bring it up. We don't want to bring it too far up where the bag is. We want to do more of the pressing right in the crease itself and down, away from the bag. Come into the corner where it always gets a little dark, and look at how already that's starting to lessen the indentation, the shadow underneath the bag, and making it look a little bit more flat. Same thing down here with these little folds. We can just press. You can also take your finger and press them in as well, or a brush. So a lot of times when you use your finger to do this, you know, use like your pinky or your ring finger, just the warmth of that helps, especially if you're using a cream makeup. And if you're using a liquid, using your finger or a brush to press it in is also going to make sure that you're getting it right into that crevice and getting it to smooth out and blend in. So that already just helps brighten underneath the bag and creates a little bit more of a smoother transition. So there you go. Puffy bag, using either a color corrector first to filter out any discoloration, and then a main shade underneath, and then only using a brighter concealer or a brighter shade under the actual eye bag to pull forward that indentation or that crease to give you a look that's a little bit smoother under your eye and not as noticeable. So what about the other? Do you have questions? Yes, please pop those questions down here. I'm live here in the chat. So at any time you have questions, just put them right there. And if you're finding this helpful, again, my name's Karen, and I am not a trained makeup artist, but I have a lot of experience with this makeup line, with cream makeup. And I really love learning, and I like taking what I learned and I like sharing it, just like sharing with our best girlfriends. That's how I feel about you. I want to learn something and I want to come on here and tell you all about it and show you that if I can do it at 57, you can do some of these tips and techniques yourself. And you know what? It's just makeup. So give it a try. Give me a follow-up here if you're finding this interesting or something that you think you could do yourself. Now let's do the other side. So again, I don't really have under eye hollowness, but I've added a little bit of discoloration with some makeup here just to kind of give the appearance of a dark, hollowed under eye. So what do we do over here? Well, kind of the first step is the same. Do we have under eye discoloration or areas that we need to neutralize or filter out? And so on this side, if it looks a little bluish purple, I'm going to go back in again with either a peach or an orange, or if your discoloration is a little bit lighter, you're more fair, you may even do more of a pinky peach. But I'm going in with that orange, kind of an orangey peach cream shade. And again, first thing I'm going to do is come in, because this whole under eye is this bluish purple, I'm going to come in and press some of this color corrector shade right underneath my eye, right where all that discoloration is. And look at how already how it's filtering that out. Just pressing right. Look at that. Look at how, because the color is using, you know, color correcting is basically using color science to neutralize or filter other colors. So if you have bluish purple discoloration, using something that's peach or orange is going to really help with that. So just look at that, how that just really color corrects that. So right there, right away, that helps so much by color correcting underneath the eye there. So once you've done that, whether you needed to, which usually if you have hollowness, it tends to mean that all of the collagen and all of the tissue underneath your eye has really dropped and it's hollowed out. And so now your skin is just sitting against, you know, very thin, more towards your blood vessels. And so you may be seeing a lot more of that bluish discoloration pooling underneath there. But look at already how just using a color corrector shade really helped. Now, then what we're going to want to do is brighten up this under eye just a little bit. So now we can go in with a brightener shade, and taking that a small brush or a finger again, we're going to go in and just brighten strategically. Again, we don't want to necessarily layer a bunch of product underneath our eye, because if you're a mature gal like me, not only do we either have puffiness or hollowness, we probably also have some texture, right? So wrinkles or texture or you know, the lines. And so what we want to do is we're going to bring some of this brightness in the inner corner right here, and then kind of right under just a bit, and then out here. So not a lot, but we can put some here, and then we're going to either take our finger to blend that all together to brighten that under eye that we color corrected, or you could continue with your brush and just continue to press. And if you notice, we're doing a lot of pressing. Pressing, stippling for mature skin is the answer to your application. If you can avoid doing a lot of swiping, that's going to make a big difference. It pulls against your skin. It tends to make your makeup skip over areas where you do have texture. And if you can do more of a pressing or a stippling application, that's a tip right there that's going to make such a big difference on how you apply your makeup. And whether your makeup is a liquid or a powder or a cream, pressing it in with mature skin is really a great tip, and I hope you try that yourself. So look at that, 2 different under eyes. We've dealt with them in 2 different ways, but both have really helped just lessen the appearance of either a hollowness or a puffiness. And we've also addressed color correcting, which is really important. We've filtered out the discoloration without layering a lot of product underneath our eyes. And I think that is a really great way to address these 2 issues. And give it a try. Like I said, you don't need to use the same exact product that I'm using. It doesn't need to be a cream-based product. You could use a liquid product. You can use a stick-type product, but make sure that you're using the right shades and that you're applying the process. And I hope that this was helpful to you by learning a different tip or a different process that you can go to your own makeup bag and try this yourself. Please let me know how it worked for you. Message me below, comment below, let me know if this was really helpful. And of course, if this is helpful, mature tips that you want to see more of, just give me a follow. I'd so appreciate that. All right, so we're all done with that. I want to open it up to any questions that you have and just tell you a little bit about myself while we're doing that, and I'll wait for a couple questions to come through. Just comment them below, and I will make sure that I answer them throughout the next, after I post everything, I'll get everything answered for you. Anyway, my name's Karen, I'm 57, and I am a non-trained makeup artist, but I have a lot of experience using makeup, learning, playing with makeup, and I think that is what's so great, is that we can all be a makeup artist on our own faces. Who knows our faces better than ourselves? And you know, makeup is such a personal thing, and so if you can just start to try some of these tips and techniques, play with your makeup, experiment, and remember, don't take it so seriously. It's makeup. What does that mean? It's only makeup? Well, it's only makeup. And if it doesn't work the first time, wipe it off and try it again. But the important thing is that you're trying it and you're learning. And I think, you know, as mature women, we need to continue to do that. We need to do things for ourselves. We need to keep learning and we need to keep experimenting. So thank you again for following along and watching this live replay. I will be here if you have any questions after the live. So just keep asking those questions and make sure you share this if you thought it was helpful with some friends who are dealing with the same things, because a lot of us are getting really frustrated with our makeup and we don't have to. We can actually find ways that work for our skin tone, for our skin issues, and for our age, and have fun with it. Thanks again. My name's Karen. I so appreciate you. Give me a follow if you found this helpful.